Well, hi. This video is a story. It's about essentially two subjects which I usually only buy used, furniture and art. And in one instance, they seem to come together. Now, the story starts here. For the longest time, I've heard that there exists a chair that is the most comfortable chair ever designed. It's been in constant production since the 1950s, and some people consider it a work of art. In fact, there is apparently an example of it in the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. This chair is called the Eames lounge chair. Now, I've heard about this forever. Now, in addition to being the most comfortable chair ever designed, it's also one of the most expensive chairs ever designed. And I can say from personal experience, I have never sat in one. I've never even seen one because I am not rich and I cannot afford a $7,000 chair. None of my friends are rich. I've never even seen one with my own eyes. Now, as with all things that are luxury, there exists a knockoff market, replicas. And the replicas you can buy for about $600 to $700. Even that is too expensive for my budget, especially for furniture. IKEA is the most expensive furniture I think that we've ever bought. Now, every once in a while, I look on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist to see if there are any of these Eames replicas available. Occasionally, I see real Eames chairs. I wouldn't even want to get close to one. I wouldn't want to break it or hurt it. It would be too expensive. So I look for the replicas, and they do come across the used marketplaces. And so about 3 weeks ago, I found one that was being sold for $120, if you can believe that. I inquired about it, and it turns out that the leather was very, very cracked and in really bad shape. And in fact, there were several splits and punctures in the leather. The person was selling it, and the story that he told me was that basically he and his fiancée, they were getting married, and she really did not like that chair, and it was in such bad shape that she wanted to get rid of it, and that was fine. So I hurried over there after work, and I saw it, and I saw all the tears. You can see pictures here. And I thought, well, for $120, I'll take a chance on it. So I went ahead and I bought the chair and I brought it home. It comes with an ottoman too. And I brought it home. I spent about $100 on materials. I bought a leather repair kit, and I bought some the stuff called Feeding Leather Cement, Leathercraft Cement. I have links to both of those down below. I tested it out on the ottoman. The ottoman, as you can see in the picture, it had the worst tear of all, just basically almost button to button. Not quite, but almost button to button. And I went ahead and I tested a technique of fixing that. Now, the traditional technique would be that you basically pull all of the leather off and you repair it on a big flat table, and then you can put foam on and you put it back on. The problem is there are hundreds of staples keeping it on, and I don't want to become an expert in upholstery repair. So I went the cheap route of access, and what I did was I cut an access panel in the back of the cushion, and I'll show you this here in a second. I tested this out on the ottoman. I used the leather repair kit on the little seam. Super glue works wonders for holding the edges together while you repair it, and that worked so good on the ottoman that I decided to actually record the similar attempt on the seat cushion. The seat cushion foam was totally flat. That would need to be refurbished. And it had lots of cracks and near splits where it was so thin you could see light through the leather. And I used the same kit on that. So this video is going to document my attempt to fix that part of it. And then we'll see how it looks at the very end. For $120, I could make a few mistakes, and it wouldn't be too far out. I have no plans on selling the chair, and I can say without a doubt it is the most comfortable chair I've ever sat in. Even though it's a replica, it's the most comfortable chair I've ever sat in. It is just a great chair to just relax in and read a book or watch TV. So let's get started on the repairs. It seems to be made out of real leather, but the leather seems to be very, very thin. The handrests may actually be fake. I'm not sure. As you can see, the back pieces are in excellent shape. but the seat portion is cracking and the foam is really squished. And the ottoman was in a very similar shape, and I used the technique to basically refoam it without reupholstering it. And I'm going to redo that here on the seat. The way I do this is I actually remove the shell and create basically an access hatch in the back, which gives me the ability to fix the cracking, the splitting, and also add new foam to it without ripping off the piping or the material. I had an estimate done, and they wanted $550 for the whole chair, plus all the materials. And to be honest, I just want this chair just to, sit in. I'm not going to be selling it. Even if I can't fix the leather, that's fine with me. Again, if this was a real Eames chair, that cushion would be held in with a zipper, but it's not. It's held in with 6 screws. So I will remove the 6 screws around the side, or actually 5 screws. I'll remove the 5 screws around the bottom and pull the cushion out, and we'll get started making that access hatch. The buttons are held in with these strings that were held in with about 50 staples. They staple here, 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 all over the place to keep this tight. All right, so I had to pull out all the staples on both sides. We're going to cut this hole out, which will leave enough to have some rigid strength in basically the chassis here. We'll be able to pull the foam out, redo the foam, fix some of the splits in the leather, put the foam in, put more foam in easily with this big access hatch, and then this will have little sticks along the side so that you can put it in, and it'll be just like it was there. Again, I could rip off all the seams, but I don't want to become an expert in upholstering. And again, I only paid $120 for the whole chair, and just put about 6 hours work into it, and it should be good enough to be comfortable. This really needs new foam, and it's pretty flat. So here it is with the access hatch. Let's pull it out. All right. This gives us access to the foam. We can pull these out, but first we got to take the buttons out. So. These are in pretty good shape. The leather's pretty cracked. We're going to use some leather glue and put some patches on the back just to prevent further damage. But it's pretty flat back there. All right. Now, we're going to put little pieces of wood on here so that we can fit it back in. First, I'm going to sand all these edges. But let's go ahead and glue the wood sticks on there. This is where I learned that the last piece of foam was actually stapled in place. All right. Some tears. That's okay, we can fix that. So I'm going to reinforce this with leather glue, and I'm going to reinforce the tears around the hole. And it looks like somebody may have already actually tried to fix this in the past. We'll make sure that that doesn't get any worse. So. A hole right here. We're going to super glue this together. You can see it's actually done pretty well. We're going to do that for a few more. So here's the patch laid out. I haven't glued it in yet. It's actually 2. It's too long for me to do. So it's going to go from buttonhole to buttonhole, and I'm going to use that Eames leather cement all along here. I did this same thing on the ottoman, and it worked great. All right, so here we are. We've put patches across all of the cracks or potential cracks with Eames glue and what looks to be like canvas. And we're just going to let that cure, and we'll take a look at what it looks like. Let's go ahead and put the cushions back in. 2 marks, 2 marks. Okay, after about an hour, I've got the main cushion stuffed in there. I had to stuff some small bits of new white cushion in there to take up the gaps. But this is layer 1, and I'm going to be adding more layers in now. So. The main goal, of course, is to make sure there's a lot of cushion on the back, because that was really flat. I'm going to put a big square of new white foam in. I'm going to put a layer of Dacron in first. There's some big gaps at the ends over here. I'm going to cut some foam and stuff them in there. Huge, huge gaps. One of the hardest things to do is to get the buttons back in. They have to be fed in. So I got a piece of yarn, taped it to the front of the needle, pushed that through, grabbed it, made a little fisher line, and so hopefully, if I pull this yarn from the back, the button will come through. It's coming. And that didn't work. How far did we get? Didn't get very far. Alright, so need to find a different approach. I think I've got an idea. So I've got a piece of brass tube and I've taped the string onto the back of it. So I'm going to shove it through here. and see if that can pull the tape through, or the string, pull the string, tape and string. There's that. Tape's through. I'm going to keep pushing the string. 1, 2, 3, 4. That did the trick. You've got a button. I'll do the other side. Alright, so here it is. The buttons are installed. I've stapled the strings. I've adjusted them. And here it is. It's looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chair. We'll do a test. That's a pretty comfortable chair. And there it is. I've used the Kokonix leather repair kit, and it worked really well. I used the chocolate color, basically. It matched pretty close. It looks, 100 times better than it did. You can see the lines and the seams and the creases, but of course they're all the same color now, instead of looking like a really bad, lots of cracks. But I'm actually quite happy with how this turned out. So again, I paid $120 for this. And I put about $100 in materials. That was the Kokonix leather repair kit and the cushion foam that I put in. I also used a little bit of Dacron in a few various places, and I've been pretty happy with this. So if you like this restoration, please push the like, subscribe, and leave a comment down in the comment section. And tell me what you think about this. Keep in mind, I'm going to be using this for a long time. I have no plans on selling it, so I hope that wasn't blasphemy for cutting holes in the back of that, but that was much easier than basically stripping all of the leather off and fixing it that way. So I'm pretty happy with it, and I can report that this is an extremely comfortable chair.